On the program today, we'll start off with Nigeria, where the simmering rift between the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Madam Nasir El-Rufai, and his successor, Governor Senator Sani, which came to the fore over the weekend, over the debt profile of the state has taken an explosive turn. Also, at some point in the program, South Africa's former President Jacob Zuma has been barred from standing in elections in May, according to the Electoral Commission. Welcome to the conversation. I am Dapo, Adegboye. Let's talk. Let's start off with, of course, stories from Nigeria, where we understand that the simmering rift between the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Madam Nasir El-Rufai, and his successor, the incumbent governor, that's Senator Sani, which came to the fore over the weekend over the debt profile of the state, assumed a dimension recently as the All Progressives Congress in Kaduna State suspended its woman leader, now over an allegation of defamation of the character of the governor. Now joining me, of course, in the studio right now to shed more light on this is Olufemi Lawson, that's the National Secretary, Campaign for Democracy, and also Awwal Aliyu, who joins virtually, a political analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. All right. Let me start off with you, Femi. I mean, interesting times, you would say, in Kaduna State. For quite a number of people, they never saw this happening. It looks like we have seen a replay of what is happening in the likes of Port Harcourt, that's River State, and maybe, in some other parts where initially it's always hunky-dory between the incumbent and, the predecessor, and things fall apart. But before we even get into the nitty-gritty of the story, when you saw all of this fallout, for you as somebody who is very active, within the political space, what does this reflect?
For me, it is not something that is unexpected. I haven't followed, not only the political situation in Kaduna State, but what has often been the situation between the predecessors and the anointed successors in most cases. And the peculiarity of the situation in Kaduna is such that a lot of people, especially people who are active politicians, do not actually understand the character of the man who is the governor of Kaduna State today. Governor Sani is not the regular Nigerian politician. No, this was an activist who became a senator, and today is a governor. So while it is very convenient, even while it is most inconvenient for politicians to keep mute when there are issues that should be addressed as far as governance is concerned, Governor Sani may not have been expected from the point of those of us who have known him, who understand where he's coming from, to keep mute in the face of some of the anomalies that are being revealed from the point that he became the governor for, Kaduna State. So, like I told you, Governor Sani came from the background of the civil society. He understands, this was a man whose background is not the typical Nigerian politician's background. So Governor Sani, if by this time has not exposed the realities of what he inherited in Kaduna, for some of us would have been disappointed, but for whatever he's exposing today, they were realities. They were on the ground. As at the time, former Governor Nasir El-Rufai left the administration of Kaduna State. There were realities on the ground as at the time the former governor left. But there are also allegations that it was also part of the previous administration somewhat. It was in the National Assembly. So there is
by being part, privy to some of this.
He was a member of the party.
Exactly.
He was a member of he has been a member of the party. He was in the political circle of the former governor, just like every other politician, a lot of them. There were people who were touted to be probable successors of, Madam Nasir who never became. But for me, it is more about the character of Governor Basani. So either he has been part of it since 1999, 2007, 2015, or whatever. The truth is that Basani will not govern Kaduna State, and the compromise at some point the need for the people of Kaduna State to know the reality of the state of affairs in their state.
You've made quite a number of, will I say, issues here. You brought it to the fore. But let's look at what the debt profile, which, of course, started all of this hula baloo. Now, according to the revelation by the current governor, that's Sani, he said that as regards foreign debt, at about $587 million, in dollars, and then for local debt, about 85 billion naira, and also there's also 115 billion naira contractual liabilities. But in all of it, it said about they get an allocation of 10 billion naira from the federal post. It said about 7 billion is used to service this debt, leaving the state with just a person fee of about 3 billion naira. Now, he said out of that 3 billion naira to pay salaries is about 5.2 billion. So, that leaves a deficit. But the outgone governor, that's the former governor, when leaving office, said he only left about 80.6 billion. That's when he was leaving, and that's for local debt. For foreign debt, he left about 500 billion million dollars, and then he said he left in the account about 5 billion. So, and also another 2.0 million dollars too. So my question is this: these are conflicting figures. Is this political, or what do we make of this?
To start with, for people who followed, activities of governance in Kaduna State for 8 years under Malam Nasir El-Rufai, at some point he was being praised to the high heavens. A lot of people came around and tried to make Nigerians understand that after Agege bread, Nasir El-Rufai was the best thing that has happened to Kaduna State and the likes. Projects good. You must give credit to Malam Nasir El-Rufai that he brought an initiative that ensured that there were developmental projects, particularly in the metropolis of Kaduna during his tenure. But the truth is that while these projects were going on and people were praising him to high heavens, who would have believed that over 100 billion in debt was being incurred on those contracts? Who would have believed that the state was indebted to the tune of over 80 billion somewhere and to the tune of over 500? Remember, one of the reasons that denied Senator Sani from returning to his position as a senator in Kaduna State was the rift generated by the fact that he opposed the move by the National Assembly to grant the approval to the Kaduna State government to take some foreign loans. But today, it looks like he's somewhat vindicated. These loans have been taken. What have they? If you are taking so much loan, and you have to leave over 100 billion in contractual, payment while leaving office, you have to leave over 80 billion in debt. Then what was the whole essence of taking some of these loans, which were expected? Because in the argument, why Senator Sani was opposing the move by Kaduna State government to take that loan then was because, we want to use this money to develop state and that. Now, if you have taken so much loan to develop the state according to you, why do we have over 100 billion in debt on same project that you took over $500 million in loan to execute? Why do we have over 80 billion in debt for the same state that took over $500 million in loan? So this tells you that the government, while claiming to be executing projects to develop Kaduna State, was also, on the other hand, shortchanging the people of Kaduna State by taking so much money in their name and not giving commensurate, report or deliverables on their behalf.
Anyway, you said quite a number of things, but I'm also made to understand that Aliyu is back online. Aliyu, can you hear me now?
I can hear you very well.
All right. I'd like to know your immediate reaction concerning, of course, the back and forth we are seeing between the current governor and, of course, allegations against the immediate governor and the son of the past governor, who is also, in the web of this conversation. What do you make of all of this crossfire?
Well, thank you very much. I think the crossfire, as far as I'm concerned, is unnecessary and is uncalled for. In the first instance, Sani and Nasir El-Rufai are core friends. They are best of friends. In the first 4 years of Nasir El-Rufai, even before the coming into government of Nasir El-Rufai, Sani has been a friend of El-Rufai. El-Rufai has been a friend of Sani. They have been together. It's a clique of Sani, El-Rufai, Sunusi Lamido, Sunusi, Ribadu, and the likes of them. It's a clique. They have been friends for a very long time, not just political allies, but they have been friends to themselves right from the days of Obasanjo's administration. They've been together. Obasani was in Obasanjo's administration too, as a political advisor. El-Rufai was a minister. Ribadu was the chairman of EFCC. And then also, so there have been cliques of friends. And then just because there's a political are you there? Hello, are you there?
Yes.
So they have been friends for a very long time. Just because there is an issue that is coming up now, some people are the people I call political juggernauts, political marabouts, or political jobbers. People that live when two people are fighting, that is when they will live to feed their family. These are people that are trying to express loyalty to both sides. While as far as I'm concerned, that is no loyalty. That is just trying to create problem where there is none, and also instigate political rivalry.
I'm sorry to cut in here, Aliyu. You said they're just trying to create problems where there is none. So are you saying that there is
the reason for that noise? Otherwise,
okay. I'm sorry, Aliyu. You're saying that people are just trying to create problems where there is none. But we saw a situation where the son of the former governor actually took a public swipe, at the current governor, using some words, just to even, will I say, describe and near rubbish his personality. So do you still insist that, there is no Cold War existing?
Yes, I understand what you are saying. I understand what you are saying clearly very well. You see, that is why I said trying to create a problem where there is none. First,
so is the son of the former governor creating problem where there is none?
Now, what Obasani tried to do justifiably was call a stakeholders meeting because there's a lot of noise, a lot of cries that he has not been living in the state. The project that were started by Nasir El-Rufai has been abandoned. They have not been, he has not continued with them, not to talk of completing them. And he has been having these complaints from almost all angles of Kaduna State, from both the political and the non-political players in the state. Because whether we like it or not, El-Rufai has set up a standard, a precedence of building or structuring Kaduna State. So this is the reality of what is going on. So Obasani had to call stakeholders meeting, trying to justify the reason why he is not always in the state. And also what the burden, the debt burden that the state is carrying right now, and as well as explain the situation of Kaduna State and what he is trying to do to eliminate the problems that we are having. Don't forget, for those who have not been following, as at the time El-Rufai is handing over the power to Obasani, in his speech, he has stated clearly how much debt Kaduna State is being engulfed in and the reasons for the debt. He has said it clearly to the hearing of Obasani and any other person that was there or was listening to that handover speech. He has made it clear of how much the debt was, where the debt was coming from, how they could even be, he even advised on how Ubasani can be able to work towards working out of that debt, explaining other debt that the Kaduna State government is owing the federal government and things like that. He has explained. That is number one. Number two, Ubasani, like I said earlier, and Nasir El-Rufai are the best of friends. So while Ubasani was the political advisor, there was this challenge of trying to get loan. Then that time, the likes of Sheikh Sani, Uthman Hunkui were the senators representing Kaduna State, where they resisted such loans. Then Ubasani was a political advisor to El-Rufai. Later on, because of that, El-Rufai had to rejig the arrangement and then get Ubasani to become senator, and then somebody from Zaria to become senator in Zone 2 that are all from APC and that are from the El-Rufai's government, so that it will be easy for the government to be able to access loan, to be able to do the necessary constructions that are physically
I will come back to you a while. I'd have to come back. Okay, I'd have to come back to you a while. Let me go to Femi right now, who, of course, is in the studio with me. Femi, Awwal has said quite a number of things. He said that what is going on is not a reflection of bad blood between the current governor and, of course, the past governor, and it's just political jobbers trying to make, a storm out of a teacup with what is happening. Do you share that line of thought?
Why are we having this conversation today? Some couple of days ago, this was a trending issue on the social media, in the news. The governor innocently, Governor Basani, innocently expressed himself about the state of finances of the state. Who was the first respondent? The son of his predecessor. I remember under El-Rufai, the children, the wives, were practically members of the cabinet. So Bashir would not have spoken out of ignorance. Bashir did not only accuse the governor of not even spending time in the state, it practically came on the governor for exposing, those realities on the ground. If you listen to the speech by the governor, it was not an attempt in the first place to attack his predecessor. But, sometimes when people have issues with their conscience, they try to escalate issues. If there's anything about the current situation in Kaduna and how much people have become aware in the last 72 hours or thereabout, it is because the son of his predecessor, Bashir El-Rufai, came down on Governor Basani.
So is it okay to say that there is no rift between the former Governor Rufai and the current Governor?
We would have assumed there's no rift if not for the position of one of the favorite sons of his predecessor, who has not only at no time did he even refute some of these claims.
Okay, because
where
there were rumors of this, goes as far back as when the former governor stepped down. Turned down the ministerial appointment, nominated someone.
Did he turn it down?
Nominated.
It was rejected by the National Assembly.
Nominated someone, and there were reports that the current governor, Ubasani, met with the president. It was just allegations.
There were no proofs. Well, no empirical evidence.
Well, it started from there, and then there are also, reports that maybe the current governor, might not be comfortable with the makeup of his cabinet, because quite a number of them are loyalists to the former governor. Now, let's also look at the woman APC leader who was suspended for speaking, against the governor. So, if you look at all of these pointers, right? Doesn't it reflect the reality?
It is not the reality. It's just politics. And
what do you mean by
the reality is what practically affects the people of Kaduna State. What we call the reality sometimes are merely the primordial interest of a very few, sometimes insignificant, who are merely opportune to occupy positions because accidentally they become governors, senators, or whatever. But the reality in its true sense is what affects the people. What has a direct impact on the people?
And you think issues like this can distract the governor?
It will not. And the way it will not is because the governor is now beginning to address the issues of how much are we owing as a state, why am I not able to pay your salary, why do I have to borrow more money to pay your salaries? Those are the issues.
It is not about
how you need to rub the ego of a woman leader, a former governor, a godfather, or some over-pampered children whose father were governors or ministers in the past.
All right, let me go back to you, Awwal. Awwal, some have likened this situation to what we are seeing right now in, in states like Rivers State, where we know what's going on between the current governor, Sim Fubara, and the outgone governor, who is now the minister of the FCT, talking about Nyesom Wike. Do you see any linkage in all of this? And do you see what is going on in any way affecting the governor to deliver when it comes to his core responsibility, particularly when it comes to salary payment? Because I want to believe that what made the governor speak out is because maybe he's handicapped as regards how to go about salary payment for civil servants in the states in the coming months. Awwal, are you there?
It is not just about, I'm here. It is not just about the salaries of civil servants alone, because if you compare the number of civil servants in the state and the number of the population of the state, you find that the civil servants are insignificant as far as the rule and the Kaduna State arrangement is concerned.
Sorry, you said the civil servants are what? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I said it is not just about the salary.
Okay.
The number of civil salary earners in Kaduna State compared to the total population of Kaduna State citizens, the salary earners are insignificant. If you look at it generally on administration. So it's not just about them. Obasani only used that as an example of the current situation, current financial situation of Kaduna State, trying to express that he is unable to pay salary until he has to loan some more money to be able to pay salary on a monthly basis. That is on one aspect.
Okay.
And also, Obasani didn't do that because he wants to instigate or humiliate or bring down or spoil the name of Nasir El-Rufai. No, as a governor, he is responsible to the people and citizens of Kaduna State, and there's already a cry and complaint that he is not performing, he's almost not in the state. He needed to come clean to explain some of the reasons why he is unable to be in the state regularly, or why he is unable to continue with the good project started by the N85B administration for completion. So I repeat, he didn't do that with the intention of castigating, humiliating, or bringing down or spoiling the name of El-Rufai. No, they are best of friends as far as we are concerned, and as far as I am concerned, there is no rift between El-Rufai and Obasani until one of them come out to tell them that we are having problem with each other. But if it is for the son of El-Rufai coming to say that why should Obasani say what he said, or Obasani is incompetent, or he's surrounded by incompetent people, as far as I'm concerned, he's expressing his personal opinion, not the opinion of Nasir El-Rufai. Because El-Rufai has a mouth. Everybody that is in Nigeria knows that El-Rufai is not the type that keep quiet once you touch him. And he does not use people to get back to people once you touch him. So as far as I am concerned, if you touch El-Rufai, El-Rufai will touch you back. If you talk to El-Rufai, El-Rufai will talk to you back, whoever you are. So for as long as El-Rufai himself did not respond to this very issue, as far as I am concerned, El-Rufai has no issue with Obasani, Obasani has no issue with El-Rufai, but Obasani has a responsibility to explain to the people, the citizens of Kaduna State, the financial situation of Kaduna, for their understanding, because there's an allegation that he is not performing, he is not working, he is always not in the state, and people are complaining. People want to know why, and that is why we call a stakeholders meeting to explain to them the situation, and he has done that. So if anybody picks offense out of the explanation of Obasani to the citizens and good people of Kaduna State, that is no personal problem. I want to believe that should not even bother Obasani, just like El-Rufai did not respond to it. And I repeat, El-Rufai in his handover speech has made it clear that there is this debt. He has highlighted this debt.
Even though I'm sorry, Awwal, even though the numbers the former governor gave as a debt profile, doesn't really tally with the numbers the current governor called out. El-Rufai Living said they left about 80.60 billion naira in local debt and about $577.32 million in foreign debt. And of course, Sani is saying $587 million was actually what he inherited, and about 85 billion naira in local debt. So, I mean, you keep saying that this doesn't reflect any rift between them, even though we've seen Bashir, being very vocal and quite brutal when he, clapped back at the governor. But I still want to take you on something you said. You said the amount, for payment of salaries is almost insignificant. According to the governor, he said the monthly salary is about 5.2 billion naira. That's monthly. That's what it costs the state. And they get, an allocation of 10 billion naira from the federal account. That's 50%. I mean, that's about 50%. So how is that insignificant?
More than 50%.
That's more than 50%. How is that insignificant?
As far as I am concerned, it is insignificant. I repeat, the total number of Kaduna State citizens compared to the number of working class of Kaduna State, those that are under the salary of Kaduna State, is insignificant. The number is insignificant to the total number of the population of the citizens of Kaduna State. So, Sani is only highlighting the challenges he is having, financial challenges he's having in Kaduna State, only citing example with the working class. That is to say, by extension, if he is having challenge of paying salary of the working class, then what more of the citizens that are generally complaining that he's not performing or he's not in the state? By proxy, he's trying to tell the state that even now I am having problem with salary, payment of salary. Then how can I be able to perform as you are expecting me to perform, since I cannot even pay salary of workers, which is insignificant compared to the total number of the citizens of Kaduna State.
Okay.
This is what I am saying.
I'm still trying to understand that. But Awwal, because we are pressed, for time, I just want your brief, opinion. You said you still insist that the relationship between the former governor and the current governor is cordial, but what do you make of Bashir El-Rufai's response to the governor?
Bashir El-Rufai is expressing his personal opinion. For us who are indigent, bona fide citizens of Kaduna State, born and brought up in Kaduna State, who are part of political terrain and political activities of Kaduna State, we know who Bashir is, we know what he can do, we know what he cannot do. He can speak on his own opinion. He can speak in protection of his father, not necessarily because he's sent by his father to protect him, but he feels a responsibility to protect his father or to protect his family or protect the family's name. Not necessarily because everybody asked him to respond, or not necessarily because everybody asked him to protect him or to go and speak. And that's why I'm insisting. For those who know Bashir that are in Kaduna here, we find it insignificant, unnecessary for Obasani to respond, or anybody that is truly with Obasani, who truly loves Obasani, who truly wants to protect Obasani. It is unconscionable and unnecessary for him to say he wants to respond in protection of Obasani. Obasani knows how best to protect himself if he is being challenged by El-Rufai. And everybody knows, yes, Obasani is a silent type. Obasani is accommodating. Obasani is very patient. Obasani is friendly.
All right, Awwal, thank you so much. I mean, you've made your point. You've made your point, Awwal. Thank you so much. But before we wrap up on this first half, I would like to move back to you, Femi. Just briefly, what do you make, in spite of whether there's a rift or not, the alleged rift between the previous and the former governor? What do you make of the response of the son of the former governor, talking about Bashir El-Rufai?
Frankly, for anyone who have known the children of Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who have known, if Malam Nasir El-Rufai children, particularly Bashir, have not responded, have not come out on the governor, as we've seen, I can assure you that in the next couple of months, Malam Nasir El-Rufai himself would have written a book, no matter how small it is, about his successor. Is somebody that is known, you understand, to expose relationship, friendship, and of course, sometimes sacrifice them for the purpose of his personal ego, personal convenience, and ambition.
You said sacrifice friendship.
Yes.
That's the current governor.
No, I mean Malam Nasir El-Rufai.
Okay.
So this would have happened. So if anybody is saying what Bashir is saying is his personal opinion, it does not have to do with his father. Practically, the person is either trying to deny who Nasir El-Rufai is or does not know who Nasir El-Rufai is. But for those of us who have known Nasir El-Rufai, it is whatever Bashir is saying today is merely voicing out what the person blowing the trumpet is saying. But that nonetheless, what is most important is what affects the people of Kaduna State. And that must not be compromised for any essence of Godfather, favoritism, or whatever. Malam Nasir El-Rufai didn't jump down from heaven to become the governor of Kaduna State. He became the governor of Kaduna State on the basis of the goodwill, support, and solidarity of some persons.
All right.
In actual fact, practically was not a practicing politician in Kaduna State when he became governor. So it means that he cannot become a god because he produced, so to say, Senator Sani as a successor.
All right.
Most importantly, the interest of the people of Kaduna State must be at the fore in all this.
All right. Thank you so much. Of course, we have been talking about issues happening in Kaduna State. And in the studio, we have Femi Lawson, who, of course, is joining me live in the studio. And we also had Awwal, Aliyu, who joined virtually. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you.